Good morning, everyone present on this virtual platform. Good morning, dear children. Good morning to all the panelists, and a very warm welcome to today's speaker, Mr. Devanshu Srivastava. Before starting his introduction, I'll quote one, statement that if your action inspires others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are a leader. You are a true leader. So let me now introduce Srivastav sir. His designation is Assistant Professor at JLU School of Law, that is Jagran Lake City University, Bhopal. The areas of specialization are business laws and IT. Till date, 22 research papers are being published and 6 chapters are published. He is a young academician, having cleared his UGC NET in law twice and also MEPSIT. He has completed his PhD in intellectual property laws from Barkatullah University in 2018, and since 2012 he is in the academic. Apart from this, he also holds diploma in cyber law, diploma in medical laws, diploma in media laws. He has to his credentials 22 paper publications and 18 paper presentations in various reputed international and national conferences and workshops. He is a member editorial board and also the lifetime member of International Journal of Legal Research and Governance and Law Mantra Journal. He is on the advisory board of various legal platforms. He has a great experience of participating and in conduction of moot court activities, legal aid camps, and various others like activities. He has won the prestigious Excellence in Research Award twice in the academic year 2015-16, 2016-17, and 2017-18. He was also awarded with the Outstanding Performer for the Year Award for 2015-16. He was felicitated with the prestigious Excellence in Research Award in 2018 and the Best Faculty Law Award 2019 by Arjun Das Gulati Foundation in collaboration with Allahabad University, Bhopal. He received the prestigious Best Faculty in Law at the International Academic Awards in Dubai, presented by GISR and American College of Dubai in October 2019. So we are fortunate enough to have you, sir. I hope our children will be benefited by your session. So not taking much of your time, I'll simply hand over the session to you. So a very warm welcome and the stage is all yours now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Garima ma'am. Very warm good morning to Garima ma'am, Poonam ma'am, my colleague from Jagran Lake City University, Jayanto sir, and Pramod sir, and moreover, the most important, my dear students. So I am so delighted after the generous introduction given by ma'am. But the major portion of my today's webinar or interaction with you people is to tell you or to highlight the portions that where the legal profession is emerging in today's global scenario. So starting with what has been told and what has been seen across. So it is always said that something which is being told is remembered for few time, but something that we feel and see across remembers for a very long time. So starting with the legal profession in the global scenario in today's emerging world, and I'll also cover the scenario where the post-COVID situation leads to. I guess we all know the Our Father of Nation, Mahatma Gandhi ji, one of the prominent persons of the list, which is continuing with the coming up slides, that a person who has done law is not only limited to the courts or to other things, but we feel that the changes that this society has developed, be it so it was an independence, be it so of many other things, and also the present scenario where the number of ministers, prime ministers, presidents of the country as well as of the world are having a legal background. Moving next was the first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who moved to London and studied law at the Inner Temple. And after returning to India in 1912, he enrolled himself at the Allahabad High Court as an advocate. His father, Motilal Nehru, was also an advocate for that particular matter. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he completed his barrister at law in 1920 at Grange, London. And we all know that he was one of the framers of the Indian Constitution, the basic law of the land today. I guess the picture on your screen is someone who doesn't require any introduction. And he's generally the first person or the president of the country right now, Sri Ramnath Kovind ji. He himself is a graduate at law from Kanpur Law College and enrolled at Bar Council of Delhi itself. The Vice President of India, Honorable Sri Venkaiah Naidu ji, is also holds a bachelor's degree in political and diplomatic studies as well as a degree of law and with a specialization in international law from Andhra Pradesh University. Few of the prominent members, few of them who have left to heavenly abode, were all having the legal background. And now you can understand these are the prominent features of all the political parties. It's not only limited to the one who's in the center or is not, but major of the political parties in the country or in the world would have that particular thing. And not only that, in US, 25 out of 45 presidents have the law degree. The famous politicians like Sardar Patel, C. Rajgopalachari, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, all were having law degrees. A few of the foreign names that we can see on the list are Barack Obama, the former president of US, Hillary Clinton, Nelson Mandela, Fidel Castro, Tony Blair, and the list goes on. Students, law is something that every civilized nation requires. It is often said that it's that particular essential ingredient of a social fabric of every civilized nation. Civilized nation we mean where there are a recognition towards the rights of its citizens, where they are respected and where their rights are respected along with their duties as well. They make the life of the citizens organized, safe and secure. And who we require to interpret those laws? The lawyers and the judges. These lawyers are needed to interpret the laws and safeguard the rights of the citizens. Many a time we are not even aware of what rights we have. But through these lawyers, we not only get to know our rights, but also that how and when our rights got infringed and what are the remedies available to that particular thing. So the job of a lawyer is not only challenging, but it's also satisfying because it is not for his personal needs, but for the society itself. So coming to the law, the legal education, it's an education gained by the individuals to become legal professionals or practitioners. The degree obtained by an individual in the stream can be useful in some fields like business, academics, or in politics as well. Unlike other forms of profession, education such as medicine and engineering, law education is both professional as well as liberal. It aims at the acquisition of the professional skills if taken as a professional education, but it aimed as value-oriented socio-cultural education if it is considered as liberal education. I'll come to what exactly is value-oriented or the socio-cultural education means. The socio-cultural education revolves around the rights in the society, which, for example, was done for community at large. For example, the provision in Article 15 of the Indian Constitution that says that there can be or the state shall make special laws for women and children. And as a result of which we see some of the laws which are in the society available only to women and children. The best of them among, or I can cite an example, is the Child Labor Prohibition Act. The main difference between law and other social science subjects is that legal studies are multidisciplinary in character. In many sub-law subjects, a scientific background is not only necessary, but is essential. For example, the intellectual property rights, something which I specialize into. Similarly, in the legal subjects, knowledge of finance and accounts has become also essential. For example, the tax laws. So we can see the current GST law or the income tax law, which is there. So it requires the finance and accounts. And this is the point where I want to mention that any stream which we have till 12th, For example, we can have science background, we can have commerce background, we can have arts, or we can have social sciences. All these students of all these four streams can opt law and can take a career in law for that particular matter. Law is also concerned with governance, and therefore legal education must be developed upon a sound basis of multidisciplinary education. This happens when the students, for example, of public administration, or for that particular thing where UPSC aspirant or an MPPSC aspirant goes across. India, owing to its rapid development in the professional education, has also provided law as a hot career option to its aspirants. The various law schools and the universities in India offer several academic programs in law. And for that thing, Jagran Lake City University School of Law offers BLLB and BBLLB. So students who have their plans that something towards the business side can be opted can easily opt for the BBLLB course as well. Now, the law courses is not only that they are granted among the top 10 programs in India, but with the last 2 year survey, it was the top opted course and surpassing engineering and medical as well. So engineering was second and medical came to be the third program opted by the students from 12th into their and opted as a career options. The legal profession has today become one of the fastest growing professions all over the world. Besides being lucrative, it is adventurous and an exciting career. Lawyers are held in high esteem in every society. There is a growing demand of law professionals everywhere due to changing economic and social scenario all over the world. And also, I guess this is one of those particular fields which we see across, which is hardly affected of recession, which is hardly affected of any such things. For example, the present situation of COVID-19, the pandemic that has shaken the economy of the world, has shaken where the people are going for the layoffs and other things. In that particular thing, I guess legal profession is one of those particular professions who came across and is also demanding more and more of the graduates per se. The main areas in law field can be, it all depends upon what and how the students are taking on to. So it can be civil law. Civil law is something which is in relation to the private rights of the individual. And these private rights, when I say across, would always relate to your land things, your reputation things. So land things, for example, if there is a dispute on relation to the movable property or an immovable property. So movable property, it can be anything. For example, there is a dispute over a car, that a car belongs to A or a car belongs to B. So that is a matter of civil law. Or immobile property. For example, a land having a mango tree. So A says that that particular land along with the tree belong to A, while the land B says that that particular land along with tree belongs to B. Then comes your criminal law. This deals with crime and or its punishments. The best law, the basic law in the country is the Indian Penal Code 1860, where major of all the crimes have been defined. And not only that, the punishment for the commission of those particular crimes is also defined across. So this includes, and these are generally, it is called as an offense against the state. This includes areas like murder. This includes area like kidnapping. These includes areas like rape. This includes area like property disputes where something has been caused as a crime for that particular person. Then comes labor laws. I guess this is something, if we are reading the newspapers, and as students, we should read the newspapers. So this is the talk of the town. This is the talk of the country at this particular moment, where major of the states have been liberal towards the labor laws. So this pertains to workers, their associations, their usual conditions, their rights and duties inside an organization, which is generally called as an industry. Lawyers in this branch usually have some problem for the management and their workers, or between the workers themselves as well. I guess we all have heard concepts like trade unions. This all are covered under the labor laws as well. Then comes a very lucrative and a very less opted of all, that is the tax laws. This particular branch of law is basically including like income tax, commercial tax, indirect taxes, GST, service tax, etc. Students, I like to mention that in spite of being the least opted branch, this is the most money-oriented branch in the legal field. Other branches includes family law, where the marriage, divorce, and other things, adoption, guardianship comes across. Constitutional law, something which is the basic law of the land, which revolves around your fundamental rights, public interest litigations, PILs, other things. Company law, all the companies that are registered under the governed under this thing. Excise and custom law, environmental law, intellectual property laws, and business laws. So if we have an LLB degree, you are exempted even from appearing in the company secretaryship exams conducted by the Institute of Company Secretaries of India, ICSI. So if a person is having an LLB degree, which is a 3-year course or a 5-year course, and an aggregate of more than 50%, there are 2 papers. In the first would be the module 1, paper 1, the general commercial law. You are exempted to write that particular paper. Second would be the module 2, paper 7, the industrial labor and the general laws. You are exempted. So this is also one thing that in consonance with your LLB degree, you can even opt for your CS degrees. Now coming to the better portion, where the major of us having the social science background or the aspirants of the civil services aiming to become the IFS or the IS in the country. How and then opting law as a subject would change that particular scenario as well. The professional education in law provides an edge to clear the civil services examination as well. In prelims and mains, a good amount of questions are based on Indian polity and constitution, which is exactly the same constitutional law which we study. It is a compulsory paper, which many law students find it to be easy. The education in law can act as a springboard for the success in the UPSC exam. The reason why I have mentioned this particular point, that if a student is opting for law for a 5-year course after 12th, constitutional law is that compulsory paper that has to be taught and to be learned in the 2 of the semesters, making the polity portion of UPSC totally covered to an extent, something which is there under the syllabus mentioned by UPSC or for the state PSCs. Indian polity is a compulsory paper, and studying constitution in your law school would automatically cover that particular portion. So when we opt for certain of the subjects, we should always see not of to what that degree would give you, but 5 years or 7 years or 10 years down the line, how the degree helps us to move in our career ahead. In UPSC, in prelims, GS paper 1, there is an emphasis on administrative law and constitutional law. In the mains exam, there are 2 sections. Section A, law of crimes and law of torts, while in section B, we have law of contracts, mercantile law, and contemporary legal developments. So a thorough knowledge of such topics on law can greatly help you scoring good rank in civil services examination. This is just the tip of an iceberg, and I'll tell you very honestly that during the course of your 5 years, if you opt for the legal background, these particular papers are a compulsory paper in your 5-year law course. When we study those particular subjects during the 5-year course, more of our emphasis can be given to other subjects, therefore making us easy, and our learning also comes easier. Now, this is a small thing where there are 2 prospects how a student opts for law and how we have to proceed with those particular things as well. Yeah. So, is the screen visible? Garimama? Hello?
Yes, the screen is visible. The screen is visible, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So, as we see across, this is a law career map that we have to came across. The 2 things that we can see at the extreme left is the LLB 3-year and the 5-year course. I'll quickly distinguish between the 2. The BLLB 5-year course is a course which is opted after class 12th, while the LLB 3-year course is done majorly after graduation. The reason of we emphasizing that why a student should opt for a 5-year law course after 12th itself is only because of the point that here a student can save an entire 1 year of his academic career. Because if you go for a normal graduation, a BA, BCom, or BSc, it is a 3-year course, and then doing LLB, which is again a 3-year course, comprises of total of 6 years. While if you go for BLLB or BBLLB 5-year course, it automatically saves 1 crucial year, which can be utilized for you pursuing your masters or if you preparing for your competitive exams or for any such things. And we should also not forget that this is that particular field where seniority changes even by a day. So where a one entire year is being saved, this is the point where we can go across. So what all things are there after a student completes his graduation in law through a 3-year course or a 5-year course? The All India Bar Exam, which is a compulsory paper now made mandated by the Bar Council of India for a person to stand in any court of law, except the Supreme Court. Except the Supreme Court only because of the reason that Supreme Court requires a practice to appear in the Supreme Court on record through a paper called as Advocate on Record. And the eligibility for that is that a 7 years of practice minimum is required in any of the court in India. So if a student or a graduate in law wishes to appear in the court, Bhopal District Court, Jabalpur High Court, Indore bench or the Gwalior bench of the High Court, he or she needs to clear the AIBE, that is the All India Bar Exam. Then comes your judicial services. Each state would have its own paper for the judicial services or the judiciary examination. This is that particular area where during the course of 5 years, and here I'd like to just mention one very significant point, that at School of Law, Jagran Lake City University, MP and Chhattisgarh civil judge subjects, which are 13 and 14 respectively. There are 14 subjects in Chhattisgarh and 13 subjects in MP civil judge exams. All these 13 and 14 subjects are taught thoroughly during the span of 5 years or 10 semesters, which makes you, enables you, and equip you with the particular subject so that no extra coaching things would be required. Also, the Center for Professional Skills and Legal Training at School of Law, Jagran Lake City University provides you free coaching for your judicial services exam as well. This is after the normal curriculum which we go across. The post that we can get across is a magistrate or a district judge. At present in India, we have 7 states because it's a judicial services is conducted each by the states. So we have 7 states where a student of Hindi background, when I say Hindi background, I don't mean that the education shall be in Hindi, but the mother tongue is Hindi, can appear for the judicial examinations. Next comes your Public Service Commission's examination, which is the PSCs, the state PSCs. So we can come across with assistant public prosecutors or the junior law officer. What is an assistant public prosecutor? He is generally termed as assistant public prosecutor or additional public prosecutor, or we popularly know him as the government advocates. So they have one particular exam. Clearing that particular exam, we become an assistant public prosecutors, which is the government advocates. So all the cases which are generally of criminal nature and which are against the state, as I told you in the previous slides, becomes this particular advocate, and he would be representing the state of Madhya Pradesh if that particular person is selected through the Madhya Pradesh Public Service Commission. Then comes other competitive exams, for example, with the law officers, MNCs, or your PSUs, or your banks. So every bank, we all know, I guess we have heard the name called as the probationary officers, which is the PO in the banks. In the same way, we have the SPOs, that is the specialist probationary officers. And one or the most of such thing is the legal officer in a bank. I'll tell you that this is that particular exam which enables a law person to be the law officers at banks. These are generally a grade 2 level positions that is being offered. Then comes if a person is going for his PG, that is the post graduation. Post graduation in law is generally termed as LLM, and through that LLM, a person is eligible for UGC NET or SET, which enables a person to become an assistant professor in any of the university in the country. And I guess I can cite myself as an example here. Pursuing my LLM and then clearing my UGC NET, I am now working for more than 6 years now as an assistant professor. So other things include the postgraduate diploma courses, which includes in labor law, tax laws, intellectual property law, cyber law, criminology, and environmental law, which helps you to be an area specific lawyering for that particular. Not only that, the legal correspondence to as a legal journalist at the leading newspapers and televisions in the country can take place. So we have all the leading newspapers, be it so it's Hindi, English, or any of the vernacular languages. We have a legal correspondent to that. And not only that, I guess the post of vice president legal in each of such papers and televisions comes from that particular thing. Not only that, highlighting the social side of us, which says that a person working within, like with the law degree, we can work within NGOs. We can even work with the legal process outsourcing. This is the new and the emerging area where after the graduation, the students through this virtual medium contact the people in US, UK and solve their legal issues. And I guess with this COVID-19 thing, the new thing that we as students have also learned is how much is the necessity of the internet for that particular thing. Now, when I come to the starting of it, that the All India Bar exam enables you to become an advocate. Now, advocates in India are generally of two variants which we see. So one is called as the court of law, and the second is in the corporate firm. And believe me, students, the most opted career by a 5-year law course is this as an advocate in a corporate firm. In a corporate firm, there are top-notch firms which are highly paid and highly lucrative jobs there. And these corporate firms, for example, Khaitan and Co., for example, Luthra and Luthra, for example, Amarchand Mangaldas, the Shardul and the Cyril, both. These are such high lucrative things where a student can opt for one of those particular areas and establish himself or herself into that particular firm with that particular organizations as well. Now, lawyers are primarily employed in the following sectors: the government sector, the corporate sector, as I was just telling you, media and informative services, the journalist services or the newspapers or the print media or the electronic media. Education and training is something that I am being imparted onto. For example, the assistant professor thing, the lecturer thing, the researchers thing. Banking, we have law officers. International bodies, something that has to be learned is that, for example, World Bank, for example, United Nations. Every year, United Nations comes across from the entire world 20 posts which is specified to where a person is required to have a law degree. The NGOs are something that through your law degree, you can help the society at large, you can help your areas. And I guess the prominent role played by the NGOs during this COVID-19 is or doesn't require any specific mentioning because they are doing such a marvelous job in that particular area as well. Now, what are the job profiles that a student can opt after a successful law career? Can be judges through the competitive exams, solicitors, advocates, legal executives, legal advisors, consultants, legal officers, legal writers. These are the content writers for laws. They also frame drafts and other things as well. The law professors and paralegal staffs. The legal practitioner, advocate, or the legal advisor is that particular point which enables under the Advocates Act for us to represent somebody's rights, to protect somebody for that particular matter as well. How we are useful in the government services. So government services, be it so it's a state or a center, we have a Department of Legal Affairs and Legislative Council, which have legal advisors. Or not only that, the governor, which is considered to be the highest body in a state, also has a legal department where 5 legal advisors are required. The Vidhan Sabha comes across with a legal department and has the vacancy for the legal advisors, which is taken from a 5-year law course or a 3-year law course. The legislative councils are also appointed in official languages, wing of the legislative department, state level, with, and every of such thing requires the legal qualifications as well. I'll also come to the various vacancies apart from what the IAS and IFS exams were conducted by UPSC. Many of the things requires basic as law as one of the essential qualifications to sit into that particular exams as well. The people can be the members of the law commission, government advocates, public prosecutors, as I've already told. Notaries and oath commissioners are also of those particular things where a law or things are required. Now, coming to the very, very, very important portion, that how this particular law thing can help you to join or to get your aim of entering into the armed forces be there. So for that thing, there is a post called as JAG, which stands for Judge Advocate General, which is generally in Army and in Air Force and Navy as well. So these are directly, and this is only open for law graduates. Every year this particular post comes across, and these particular persons serve as the Judge Advocate Generals. Once you clear the 3-stage exams, you are commissioned officer of the Indian Army, Navy, or the Air Force, whosoever is conducting that particular exam. And your first posting is as a lieutenant. So these are particular things that only a law thing can comes across, and where the law is required. You are also, I told you that you can appear for the state PSCs, but the state PSCs, the judiciary exam that is being conducted, only a law student can appear to that particular thing and nobody else. So not only that, there are other of the commissions, or there are other of the quasi judicial bodies or the judicial members where tribunals are there, and that is also reserved for someone who is having a degree in law, or for that particular thing where legal thing is a mandatory. Coming to the teaching thing, a good academic record, LLM, PhD degrees, UGC net, publications, and other things. I guess when ma'am was referring or just introducing me to your thing, you might have taken a note of a point that there were number of publications that were being emphasized. So in a good academic record, these are particular things that are being taken into consideration, and this is how we develop ourselves into law teaching career as well. Now, the very important thing that is there is the writing, editing law books, journals, and reports. Now, with a good legal thing, it's not only that every law student shall stand in the court of law and be there. There are few of them, and I have many of my friends who are working behind those particular lawyers who are representing in the court. So these are generally called as the in-house counsels, or someone which is also called as the office lawyers. So when I say the office lawyers, these are the one who sit back, who writes books, who write legal commentaries, who even write reports, they produce journals, they even come across with the particular formatting and editing, or of what we call as a legal vetting of a document. And this is where a content writing in law comes into place. I'll also come to how the overseas opportunities are available. So on your left side is the country name, and if we have a law degree, and I'll come to this particularly because with the degree from Jagran Lake City University School of Law, we not only enable our student to stand globally, but also to act locally as well. When I'm saying globally, we have, or we are the among those particular 6 institutions in the country at now who are the member of WFUNA. It's a world forum on the legal knowledge which is accumulated, and a person who has done that particular degree from a recognized institution can practice in any of the common law countries. Common law countries were basically those countries which were once an colony of the United Kingdom. So when we come to such things, a degree, for example, because this is a valid question, especially to the global scenario, that what if we do a degree from Jagran Lake City University in Bhopal? Can or does the 5-year law course after my 5 years enable me to go and pursue any of the careers abroad? The answer is a big yes. So the countries, for example, the student can go to Australia, and for that matter, we have one of the prominent persons from the Australian court, the highest court there, the Supreme Court, Mr. Jain Jetwa, as a member of one of our board of studies in School of Law. So he's that particular person from Australia who is a member, and therefore his inputs on those particular things have always helped our students. He was there, he comes and takes lectures. Many of his lectures were virtual as well, and this helps us to how we can accumulate our knowledge in Bhopal and when it comes to the expansion of that particular knowledge or the practical exposure of that particular thing, we can go abroad and use this particular 5-year knowledge as well. So in Australia, a practical training in law firm called as the article clerkship is required. So once we have this degree here, we have to go, we have to do an article clerkship, we get that certificate and we are eligible to practice even in Australia for that particular thing. Barbados, Brunei, Canada, the Canadian accreditation is required. For that thing, the National Committee for Accreditation in Canada is required for that particular thing. England and Wales, age at least 21 years. LLB, if we are to, is of at least 2:2 level. I'll explain what 2:2 level means. That whatever we have studied is eligible for there as well. For that matter, Jagran Lake City University School of Law is also associated with King's College London. It's the ranked 3rd legal institution in the world. And this 2:2 level is already being complied at that particular level. So once a student has completed his LLB 5-year course here, he or she is eligible to go and practice in England and Wales as well. He only on their at arrival in England and Wales have to complete a legal practice course and a training contract, which is mandated by the UK government. Hong Kong, in order to be eligible for PCLL, the transcripts must be sent to the Hong Kong Conversion Examination Board for evaluation and to be passed to an additional examination as well. And for this thing, again, Jagran Lake City University transcripts are already eligible for at the Hong Kong Conversion Examination Board, and they are already evaluated. So all student from Jagran Lake City University post completion his 5-year law course has to just send an application to the Hong Kong Conversion Examination Board where the degree is already recognized. He just had to sit for an examination. 3 months after that particular examination, he is fit to practice in Hong Kong as well. Then comes your Malaysia. Malaysia, the Malaysian Certificate in Legal Practice, the CLP that we generally call it as, is an exam that has to be cleared post your graduation. Now coming to a very important thing called as the US, because the 2 major countries where the student apply are UK and USA. So additional legal education from a law school, in most cases, this will be mean that being awarded an LLM. For example, you do your BLLB or BBLLB from Jagran Lake City University, Bhopal, and for your 1-year LLM degree, you can move to US for that particular thing. And this was my basic answer where I was classification between a 3-year law course and a 5-year law course. So this 5-year law course not only enables you that 1 year which you save, you can go and have your LLM degree from US, from any of the colleges or the private universities or the public universities there, and clearing your exam for the bar, you are eligible to practice for that particular thing. I'll also like to mention, I guess a week back, we had a webinar of one of my friends. She is practicing at the New York law firm. And now she is one of those who has started his practice and now 4 years of her practice there. So we and Rini, we both graduated together. Post that, she went for her LLM to US and then she took her certification exam to be practicing at law. And now she is an established advocate to practice at New York itself. The areas in which a law degree can be helpful includes politics, public administration, civil services, information services, company secretaryship, human resources management, personal management, labor relations, broadcasting. Politics is something that we have already discussed in the initial of our slides. Public administration was one of those particular things that I was emphasizing on, requiring with your civil services or not. So, for example, even if you're not into our civil services, then to an administration of public, whichever way it was, for example, is a society administration, or if it is a social work through an NGO, that also requires a public administration. Information services, this includes media and all the things. Company secretaryship, I told you, the advantage of having a law degree, you are exempted from 2 of the papers as well. Human resource management, this is where the course on BBLLB comes into rescue for that particular thing. And you can even be hired as an HR manager for many of the companies, including the law firms. The personal management, this happens where a particular person with the law degree comes into play, and this generally happens in the industries. You remember when I was telling you about the labor law course, that was also there. And same thing with the labor relations. This happens in the industries where the labor unions and trade unions have been there. The broadcasting rights as well. Now, the top 10 benefits of studying law. Strong foundation of further combined academic studies can be done. For example, BBA LLB student can even opt for MBA or your LLB. Not only that, post your BBA LLB, you are even eligible to be an entrepreneur. So I know a couple of my students who graduated last year, and now they are holding not only that, but they are a multi-crore company where they have established their own companies and they come across this particular thing. Entrepreneurship management is one of the core subjects which we teach at the BBLLB course in Jagran Lake City University. The multitudes of career options. With the previous two slides, we have just seen that what all things and what all career options can be opted. And not only that, you're not stuck with one. You can, at any time of your life, you can switch to the other careers as well. And if nothing works, you are eligible to be a lawyer and to practice in the court of law. I can tell you, major of the persons after being like superannuating from their jobs or after getting retired through VRS or whatever thing, they have started practicing in the court of law just because of the law degree which they had earlier. The financial stability. This is the very important thing which when I guess 2008, 2009, when we had faced the recession in the market, the only field that was, I guess there were two fields that were totally like separated from the recession. One was the medical field and the second was the law field. Obtaining a law degree not only guarantees immediate success, but then emphasis on that particular thing gives you more of the job securities and higher salary. At times when the other branches in the or the other branches in the of your career provides a stagnant point or a point of stop, law is that particular thing which is ever evolving and ever continuing as well. Also, it masters your critical thinking, strong reasoning, and analytical skills. I guess a lawyer is generally considered to be the master of all three. When it comes to critical thinking, a situational based thing, because every case is not going to be your same, where you have to apply your reasoning and that to a strong reasoning along with the analytical skills. Also, it is not necessary that only one type of case would be there. For example, that a person is there who is always defending a person in a murder case. So it is not necessary that being a lawyer, you will come across with this thing. It is also not necessary that being a judge, that same type of case would be there or one particular format has to be taken across. The power to make a difference through law is there. That is where the sense of justice comes into play. That is where being a lawyer or a judge on that particular matter comes into play. The very important concepts, that is the point number 6, that is related with the legal studies, is the respect and the prestige. I guess I've been citing this example that there are only two fields at present in the country which has a suffix to their name, Sahab. So one is Dr. Sahab and the second one is Vakil Sahab. So the reason why I'm mentioning this point is that you'll never find that this particular respect and prestige would not be there. It is always there, and generally when even a judge, when you become a judge, all well. So that prestige and respect goes by leaps and bounds. The awareness of rights and responsibilities, not only of yours, but also for your fellow humans as well. And this is where the societal value comes into play. The development of self-confidence. I guess there are many things that has to be taken care with a law student. And believe me, I can give you my example. I have never lost a debate in my entire life. So the point that I'm trying to tell is that how this particular thing comes into play, how those particular things would be there. You people are very fortunate to be studying at such a wonderful school where such important things are being inculcated by your teachers, by your principal madam at every stage of your life. But guys, 10 years or 15 years down the line, you can ask your teachers as well, you can ask your parents as well. And I can tell you my own self, we were not having such facilities at our schools. But when it comes to the legal field, the law school has taught you, or has taught me particularly, such important things as well. So imagine in your cases where such a wonderful school, such wonderful teachers, and such wonderful teachings have been given to you all. These particular things, enhanced by the law school teaching, would always be there and nurture you a good self-esteem and confidence. And believe me, parliamentary debates, model United Nations, moot courts are such inculcative part, especially at Jagran's Lake City University School of Law. And not only that, right from the first years, we have made it compulsory and mandatory for all the students. The better communication skills and high adaptability towards various career transactions. For that thing, I'll just say there is a subject called as communication skills mandated in your second semester of a law school. So at School of Law, Jagran Lake City University, we do not feel that a student, even in spite of having a good communication skill, there are certain of the legal vocabulary words that have to be taught. Not only that, standing in a moot court, I'll tell you what exactly moot court is. It's a model courts where one of the problems is given, hypothetical, and two parties are made and they have to argue on that particular thing. So it is just like a reciprocated model of what exactly the courts work. Then comes the very important portion, which I feel to be, and the reason of keeping it at last was this only, an intellectual change. Students, at this stage, we are in schools where we generally have a small known things on our rights, on the society rights. But when we are into law schools, there are many things. And the reason why I'm saying that, why a role or what is the importance of newspapers. Now, even for youth people, you can get it on a click on your mobile as well. But do read the newspapers. Any of the news in the newspapers. For example, we have been seeing across the migrants are walking on roads to reach their home places. Attracts law. Second, yesterday the finance minister declared certain things. Attracts law. Third, there were certain of the players who were involved in some doping activities or some non-ethical practices. Involves law. There is a financial thing where India and USA signs a treaty. Or for example, US has now filed a case against China. Involves law. So all in all such things, there isn't any of the news in the newspaper that does not attract law. So all what is attracted or what that is required is an intellectual change. Now, being today a law student, and I call myself as a law student, not a law teacher, because this is that particular field where you have to read every day. You have to be updated with all the knowledge and the news every day. And in that particular thing, studying law demands a truly an intellectual change. If you are enjoying working your little gray cells, this may be the biggest benefit of studying law. Any of the news matter in the newspaper, making of the ministers, the government collapses, ministers shift, involves law. And that is why even the big political parties, major of the prominent members are having lawyers as the prime members there. I've just quickly jotted down certain of the points that what are the 10 reasons to opt for law. So these are diverse legal career options, growth and opportunity, financial rewards, client service, diverse practice areas, intellectual change, prosperity, prestige, global perspective, and dynamic environment. I guess in my previous slides, I've already discussed and no of such points was uncovered for that particular thing as well. In last, the Ambrose Bierce in his Devil's Dictionary describes a lawyer as someone who is skilled in circumvention of the law. Besides being financially lucrative, law is an adventurous and thrilling career option. Why I'll say it to be a thrilling career option? For example, we heard like 7 or 8 months back, there was an environmental issue at New Delhi where the lawyers filed the case. Even in this COVID-19, you'll see all the courts in the country, be it so the smallest court, the district court, or the highest court in the country, the Supreme Court, is functioning. They have opted e-methods, they have opted for many other things, but these are the points where you cannot shut those particular things. The notion of a lawyer who is adept at finding loopholes in the system is a popular one in our country. And that is where I'm seeing, like, for example, a week back when the Prime Minister appeared at the television at 8 p.m. and he declared something, the very next you'll find people criticizing him and you'll find people appreciating him. So again, the point is that a good lawyer generally comes out with the loopholes in the system, and that is why a proper reading and drafting goes across. So this was all from my side. I guess I have covered the major of the portions. I'm also mentioning my email ID. If in case you have got any doubt, you can write me in, and I assure you that within 24 hours you'll get a reply from my end. And if we have any questions here by the faculties or by the students, I'll be more than happy to assist you people there. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Garima?
sir. And
Yes, ma'am.
now I think the students have posted their few of the questions in the chat box. So if Pramod sir can forward those questions, I'm not able to see those questions.
Yes.
We are still awaiting some of the questions. So students, we would
Okay, fine. So
request you all to chat, put the questions in the question box and send it to us so that we can ask Dr. Devanshu to answer them.
fine. So by the time the children are asking, I would like to pose one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please elaborate about commercial awareness?
Commercial awareness or as a role of a lawyer?
Yes.
Fine. For that thing, ma'am, I'll just say that the commercial aspect or the corporate aspect that we see involves many of the areas. For example, tax is one of them. For example, like presently we're seeing a situation where the commercial thing would come into place once this lockdown gets over. So like many of the contracts were there. For example, the transfer agreements were there. Or for example, if something like we of us have ordered on Amazon and Flipkart, for example, in
Yes.
the last week of March, and that was not yet delivered to us. So in that particular case, how the things have to be seen. Number one, it's case specific. Number one, for example, that a particular thing is a perishable good. For example, something that we ordered was like something that was just time shell period of 2 weeks. So now that particular thing, even if it is transferred, would not take place. Second, it was a necessity good. For example, I had a birthday of someone in my family and I ordered that particular thing in order to gift that particular thing to the person. But now that particular purpose is also over and other things are also there. So when you come to the commercial aspect, the commercial aspects requires a case to case specification. Number one. Number two, it also requires that how the law thing can be taken. So law, we have a concept of right in rem and right in persona. Right in rem means a right which I have. For example, if I have bought a house, plot or a flat, this excludes others from not entering into it without my permission. So this is right in rem. And when it comes to right in personam, I and you have an agreement that we are going to buy this pen for rupees 50. So in that particular case, I and you are involved. I'll give you 50 rupees and you'll give me the pen. So when it comes to the commercial aspect, there are commercial contracts. For example, factories demanding boxes for the packaging thing. But nowadays, because of the lack in transport systems and other things, they have been deferred on. So we have one clause of the force majeure clause, which says that mutually we can agree on to that due to some pandemic, due to some, like for example, floods, due to for any other things, the contract or the agreement stands void. It would not be followed and none of the implications would be imposed. For example, if I've taken an advance, in that particular case, I'll return that advance to that particular person. In that case, if I have to deliver something on a particular date, but due to this particular thing, it was not being able to deliver, we will not go with that particular contract and none of the implication, none of them can challenge that in the court of law. I hope I've answered things, or if it is something very specific, you can just put in quickly so that I can answer that as well.
No, thank you so much. I was just asking this only as you know, right now when we surf the sites and in the newspapers also this term was very frequent. So for
Yes,
that
ma'am.
it came up. So for that only I have asked. And thanks a lot. It sorted out my thing.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Srivastava, we have one question from Priyanka Biani.
Sir.
She's asking, to become a APP, is the degree of law important?
Yes, for that thing, I'll tell you, for becoming an assistant public prosecutor, or in the state of MP, it is termed as additional prosecution officer, ADPO. A law degree is a mandated degree. So without, and this paper, the primary requirement that a student shall not have completed the age of 35 years. He should be an Indian citizen. And the very third requirement that a law degree with 50% marks have to be there. So these are the three important requisites that have to be fulfilled. Then only you are eligible to fill the form. Then there is one paper where I guess at present, if we'll talk about, there are 26 subjects in that paper. 100 marks paper is there. There are 100 questions, 200 marks paper, and it is one paper objective type where the merit is being there, and finally the list is being there by the MP government. So I'll also add one thing to it. It's a state specific exam. So MP would have its own APPs, UP has its own, Chhattisgarh has its own. On that thing, UPSC comes across with one particular thing, that is generally for CBI, Central Bureau of Investigation, there is a possibility of APP which is conducted by UPSC, and in that particular exam you are posted across the country in the where of the CBI courts are there. So that is one thing. Not only for CBI, we even have it for CID, we even have it for BSF and other places as well. So I hope I have answered Priyanka's query.
Harshita Rajput has a question. The two exams that are held during seeking courses. Sir, what is the difference between the two exams that are held during seeking courses? I'm guessing.
Okay, I guess Harshita is querying regarding that after her 12th, there are two exams that are there. So one is the CLAT and the other one is the LSAT. For that thing also, the portions, LSAT is basically the US model of the examination, while CLAT basically is what the Indian origin is there. So for that thing, the portion on both these things are now similar, especially from this particular year. So we have the CLAT consortium and the LSAT. So both are now having this similar model. The only difference is the colleges associated with that particular thing. I'll quickly answer to that in perspective to Jagran Lake City University School of Law, that JLU offers you both. So for example, if you have a CLAT score and you have an LSAT score, we will be considering both these scores. For example, if you miss out for the CLAT or LSAT, we even conduct our own entrance. So coming to Harshita's basic question, what's the difference between the two? The difference is only with the in association with the colleges which is there, and also with the format and the teaching perspective. So LSAT, as I told you, is a US model which is being followed. LSAC, the LSAC that conducts LSAT. All the institutions in major of the institutions in India. For that thing also, Jagran Lake City University is now the founding member of the Global Law Alliance, which is in for the LSAC as well. So that also opens a gate for you to write for the LSAT and move also. On that notion, there is also one paper called as AILET, that is ILET, that is only for the entrance at NLU Delhi. So which is exactly the similar pattern which the CLAT follows, but that is only for one of the nationals in the country, that is National Law University Delhi, that conducts its separate entrance examination, while CLAT, all the major national law schools in the country, starting from Bangalore to the others, like now every state has, and fortunately Madhya Pradesh is now state which has 2 national law universities, second after Maharashtra, which has 3 national law universities. So these particular, and for that thing there are a number of private universities including Jagran Lake City University, who also takes a valid CLAT score and exempts you from writing a paper as an entrance, and followed by a personal interview, you will be selected for our university as well.
Great. Thank you very much for that, Dr. Srivastav. That's all the questions we can see right now. So, Garima ma'am, would you like to conclude the session?
Yes, sure.
So, yeah, Garima ma'am, before we conclude, I'll just quickly want to say a few things about my university as well. Jagran Lake City University School of Law is offering BLLB and BBLLB course, which the students can opt for. If you have a valid CLAT score or an LSAT score, we take both. If in case you miss out with those particular things, you can even write the entrance at the Jagran Lake City University entrance test. I guess Pramod sir can give more details on that to Garima ma'am, which can be forwarded to the students. But the admission forms for the 2020-21 session are out, and looking to this particular thing and to what the things are, we assure this that the best of the legal education is provided to you by Jagran Lake City University, and that's the reason why in just a short span of 5 years we have gained that particular name in the market, not only in central India but across the country. Now Jagran Lake City University has a prominent name due to its faculties, due to rich library. So also for that thing, we have exactly the same number of books and journals, both physical and e-volume, which the NLIU Bhopal has. The faculty strength is, major of them are from national law universities, and they were associated in any of such format. Either they were faculties or they have done, I myself have done my masters from NLIU Bhopal. So something that the nationals have left, we assure that even that thing is provided to the students at Jagran Lake City University.